Let me tell you, I was less than 10 feet from making a mistake that could have sent me straight to the emergency room. It was a mistake born from simple curiosity that I nearly paid for with hundreds of deep, painful wounds. It all started with a dark shape I spotted on the trail, and a decision I made that, trust me, I will never make again. So, I was out for a solo hike, trying to catch the last bit of light on a perfect autumn day. The sun had just sunk below the horizon, and the woods were slipping into that deep blue twilight that's both gorgeous and just a little bit spooky. The trail was totally empty. It was just me, the crunch of my boots on the leaves, and the quiet hum of the forest getting ready for the night. I figured I was about a mile from my car when I saw it. Just off the path, kind of nestled at the base of an old oak tree, was a dark shape. It was perfectly still and low to the ground. At first, I thought it was maybe a charred log or a discarded duffel bag. But there was something about its shape that was just too organic. It didn't belong there. My first instinct was to just keep walking. I mean, night was falling fast, and the number one rule when you're alone in the wilderness is don't mess with things you don't understand. But my curiosity, that little nagging voice, it got the better of me. I slowed down, my heart starting to thump a little faster. What was that thing? My brain started flipping through the options. A weird mushroom? A sleeping bag someone lost? The photographer in me was dying for a closer look. The rational part of me was screaming, dude, leave it alone and get back to the car. I took a step off the trail. In the dead quiet of the evening, the crunch of the leaves under my boots sounded like a gunshot. The shape didn't move. I took another step, pulling my phone out, ready to flick on the flashlight but not wanting to startle whatever it was. Now I was about 15 feet away. It was lumpy and dark, roughly the size of a small, stout dog. I couldn't make out a head or any legs. The silence was deafening, my own breathing was roaring in my ears. Just a few more feet. I leaned in, squinting into the gloom, trying to make the shape resolve, my mind just buzzing with this mix of fear and fascination. CTA. And if you've ever had that feeling, where your curiosity completely bulldozes your common sense, you know exactly the spell I was under. It's a powerful thing, and if you appreciate stories about where it can lead, taking a quick second to subscribe to the channel helps out more than you know. Section 3, The Climax. I was now less than 10 feet away, close enough to see the dark mass was covered in what looked like coarse, thick hair. I took one final, stupid step. And in that instant, everything just stopped. The silent, motionless lump exploded. It didn't run. It didn't flinch. It erupted. In a flash, the dark mass bristled with hundreds, maybe thousands, of sharp, white quills that shot straight up, catching the last of the light. A low, chattering growl ripped through the silence. I froze, and my blood turned to ice. It wasn't a log. It was a North American porcupine, and I had just walked right into its personal space. I'd never been that close to one in my life. The change from a harmless-looking blob into a living fortress of spines was both terrifying and absolutely breathtaking. I backed away slowly, my hands kind of up as if I was surrendering, my heart just hammering against my ribs. The porcupine kept its quills raised, tracking me until I was a safe distance away. Then, like someone flipped a switch, the quills just relaxed back down. That's when the reality of the danger really hit me. Porcupines can't shoot their quills, that's a total myth. But what they actually do is way more effective. When they feel threatened, they can swing their muscular tail with incredible speed, driving dozens of those quills deep into an attacker. An adult porcupine has about 30,000 of them, and each quill is a little masterpiece of defensive engineering. The tip is covered in microscopic, overlapping barbs that make them a nightmare to remove. Once they're in, your own body heat and muscle movement can cause those barbs to expand, which makes the quills work their way even deeper into your flesh. This can cause severe infections or even puncture vital organs. Getting a face full of those would be a serious medical emergency, and I was seconds away from finding that out firsthand. This animal, which I had mistaken for an inanimate object, was a perfect example of why you never approach wildlife, especially at night. Porcupines are mostly nocturnal, which means they're most active after sunset, out looking for food. They are solitary, slow-moving creatures that want absolutely nothing to do with people. My careless curiosity was seen as a threat, and the porcupine did exactly what it was designed to do, triggering a defensive response that could have ended my night in a very, very different way. It was a powerful reminder that the wilderness plays by its own rules. It demands respect, and that respect starts with keeping your distance. What's the closest call you've ever had with wildlife? I would genuinely love to read your story in the comments below. And if this was a good reminder to stay safe out there, consider subscribing for more stories from the wild. Be curious, but always be cautious.